Well, I uh I just don't even know at this point. So, BO7 came out and it's everything I expected it to be. It's absolute dog shit. That's probably the nicest and shortest way to describe the game, but there's more to it. There's more to it. So, for the record, I've not played BO7. And if you're wondering to yourself, well, how can you give your opinions on a game that you've never played? Look, the game costs $70. I'm not going to spend $70 on a game that I'm just going to end up refunding anyways because it sucks major ass. To that, a couple of things I've noticed about BO7 from going around the internet throughout the day is a couple of major things that people who've played the game pointed out are that the campaign is 4.5 hours long, and that's playing on solo. Now, I don't know if BO7 has difficulties since it is a co-op campaign. It's a co-op. Well, it's a sort of co-op only. It's like co-op 1 to 4 players. Basically, just play the campaign by yourself, but you have AI controlled teammates in that case. Yeah, I don't know if there's like if there's the standard recruit, regular, hardened, and veteran modes. If there are difficulty modes, and this game was beat in 4.5 hours solo on veteran, that's fucking bad. On top of that, it's online only, which, I mean, not surprised. BO6 was online only. That doesn't mean I'm happy at all about that. That annoys the crap out of me. I don't know why you need to be online to be playing a fucking single player campaign, and I get it. The excuse for BO7 is, well, it's co-op this time, so you have to be online in order to be able to join other people. Well, I mean, shit, zombies is a co-op mode, and you can play zombies solo without having to be online. BO3, for example, I could load up BO3 right now on Steam with the T7 patch turned on, so I don't get butt fucked by hackers. I could load up any map and play any map by myself, without an internet connection. Beautiful, amazing.
He's been feeding intel to the guild.
Razor, son of a bitch. Where is he now?
The team hasn't seen him in hours. Marshall believes he fled Japan.
Goro Majima? Is that you?
Why are you in my game? I don't know who you people are!
I can't say that doesn't seem to be the case for BO7. But if you thought that was bad, you can't fucking pause the campaign. Like, from what people who played the BO7 campaign have reported, you cannot pause this. And I think official gaming media outlets have even said the same thing. You can't pause this. So you're going to have to hold it in for about 4.5 hours. So do what Amazon drivers do. Get yourself a bucket. If you have a bucket, or, if you don't have a bucket, get yourself a Gatorade bottle and, take a leak in it. Ladies, I don't know, ladies who play Call of Duty, I don't know what you're going to have to do in that case. I mean, the other option is to just wear an adult diaper, because if you piss yourself, well, you couldn't go take a leak. You had to go, you were just way too into the COD, into the BO7 campaign, so, you had to hold in your piss and shit. And apparently, if you thought you could just sit there and just have yourself sit somewhere on the map, or like hide in I don't know if you can hide in a bush in this game. I still got like the Fortnite brain on the mind where you could just hide in a bush and just, camp out for several minutes. I mean, hell, you get to go take a leak and get yourself a drink, get yourself whatever, look at your phone, read your emails, all that shit. I don't know if you could do that in this game, but you could park yourself somewhere on the map and, go use the bathroom. Apparently you can't do that because the game will kick you for inactivity when you're playing solo. Fucking solo. It will kick you for inactivity when you're playing the campaign solo. You can't pause this dog shit, but you can't fucking just park yourself somewhere on the map and go take a piss or a shit. Can't do that. Lovely. And when I mention park yourself on the map, then comes my next issue with the game. So apparently, Activision hasn't learned a damn thing from MW3 2023, the shitty MW3, not the good one from back in the day, the shitty one. For anyone who remembers, MW3's campaign was a laughingstock when that game came out, because the campaign was just like BO7's, about 4 hours long, and I think it was 4 hours long even on Veteran. So 4 hours long, and the game was just relying on recycled Warzone assets and maps. Like, it would take chunks of the Warzone map and turn them into like mini maps for you to run around in. It was like a watered down version of Far Cry, which at that point you're better off just playing Far Cry. I mean, you gotta have some patience for exploring the Far Cry map, but honestly, I mean, hell, if you want the Call of Duty-esque experience, yeah, just play Far Cry. It's an infinitely better series at this point than Call of Duty. But no, like, it's using Warzone assets and maps. It's just taking portions of the map. It's literally doing exactly what MW3 2023 did and got rightfully shat on for. A lot of people are calling this quite possibly the worst COD campaign. I didn't think Activision could do significantly worse than what they did in MW3. Because BO6 had a campaign. Yeah, it wasn't a very great campaign, but, you know, it was at least a campaign. They tried to do something there with the Saddam Hussein and George H.W. Bush in the 90s and that whole time period, Bill Clinton, all that stuff. They tried to do something there. You know, props to I'm assuming Raven Software was the ones who worked on that campaign, and props to them for at least trying something. Black Ops Cold War was still a better campaign, though. And of course, I mean, if we're comparing campaigns, I mean, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 are the gold standard. I mean, those campaigns are legendary. But no, people are saying that BO7's campaign is worse than MW3 2023 in terms of content, and worse than BO3 in terms of story. It is worse than BO3 in terms of story. And I played BO3's campaign. Hated it. Hated every second of that campaign. Honestly, if you're going to play BO3's campaign, you're better off just, on PC, you're better off just getting the Neptunia or Girls Frontline mods and just playing through the campaign. The story will still be hot garbage, but hey, at least you'll be laughing your way throughout the campaign as you watch waifus blow each other's brains out, and then the one waifu will be standing in front of the train and being voiced by the guy from Law & Order SVU telling you, "Train go boom." But in this game, that's not really the case. It's terrible writing, it's short, and to make matters worse, from footage I've seen of the campaign, it's goofy as shit. Now, I understand that the whole gimmick around this Call of Duty is it's supposed to take place after the events of BO2. So you're still David Mason, you're just an older David Mason. And apparently you go into like this weird virtual reality sort of thing that's like Sword Art Online-esque sort of shit, and you're fighting like weird slop AI generated crap everywhere. And at one point the peak of this campaign's just acid trip levels of stupidity is you have a boss fight where you are fighting this giant boss that has a health bar, which is some shit I would expect to see from like Doom or something. I mean, hell, that is in Doom. I mean, in Doom Eternal, the Icon of Sin boss fight at the end of the game. But you expect it in a shooter like that. Call of Duty, you don't expect some shit like this. When I saw that gameplay, that footage of that part of the campaign, I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely thought that was zombies. And then someone clarified, no, this is the campaign. This is not zombies. Which, if this were zombies, perfectly fine. This is some shit I expect to see in zombies. Zombies can get goofy, because zombies, I mean, it's zombies. Zombies ain't real. Like, you can go fucking wild with zombies, but the campaign, like, and they can't even say like, oh, but that's because you're in an AI generated simulation, virtual reality, Sword Art Online-esque sort of world. Okay, but so that was the case with BO3, and that game supposedly took place in like 2060 whatever, and the fucking goofy shit was not fucking present everywhere. Like, yeah, people were dissolving into ones and zeros and shit, and it was all like technological, like VR shit, but at least in that game, It didn't feel insanely ridiculous. Like, it was grounded to some extent. Yes, BO3's campaign was still one of the worst campaigns ever made in this entire series, but I feel like at this point, after seeing BO7 footage, I think we were too hard on BO3. We were way too hard on BO3, at least on its campaign. Zombies is still the gold standard for zombies in that game. But another highlight that I like to point out is the Menendez acid trip boss fight. At one point in the game, that you will be fighting Raul Menendez, and the boss fight, from what I recall seeing in the footage, you can summon what appears to be some kind of airstrike where it throws a giant throwing knife from the sky, and you are on what I think is Menendez's like villa thing from in Nicaragua from Black Ops 2. Like, if anyone remembers that mission where you're like storming his villa with Alex Mason and Woods, like it's that, but it's like broken off into like a piece of ground that's floating in the sky with other pieces of ground floating in the sky around it. And like you can summon knives from the sky, like giant knives from the sky. Menendez has like Hulk powers or some shit, and he's got like this evil red aura come. It's the goofiest shit I've ever seen. This does not look or feel remotely like Call of Duty. Like, this is not Call of Duty. But yet it's wearing the skin of Call of Duty on top of it. Also, this one's not really that big of a deal. I just found it kind of stupid, but it is worth mentioning that from what I got from the campaign, apparently Frank Woods lived to be 104 years, according to this game, which is some amazing plot armor. I guess they had to keep Woods around for 104 years to be able to kind of justify how it is that everything in this story is connected to BO2 for some reason. I mean, I don't know if you had to keep Woods alive for over a century, but apparently that's the case. One thing about this campaign that pisses me off, and about this game as a whole, and I'll get to the multiplayer in a sec, but one of the things that pisses me off about this campaign is the fact that it relies on old COD nostalgia. Like, if you're an old fucker like me who's been playing Call of Duty since the golden era, since the COD 4 to BO2 days, like, it grabs a lot of assets from BO2. Well, not assets from BO2, but it has a lot of stuff from BO2, a lot of moments, maps, characters. It tries to just pile it all on in this weird virtual reality-esque landscape that's controlled by this lady who's supposed to be the antagonist of the game. I didn't really bother following the plot of this dog shit game, but she's supposed to be the main antagonist from what I've gathered, and you're fighting in these nostalgic like moments from BO2 in this game. Fuck, at this point, why not just do what they did with COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2? Just remaster the whole campaign. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have a BO1 and BO2 remaster than this pile of garbage. But no, they are relying on that nostalgia trip, on the whole thing of like, oh man, I remember playing BO2 back in my teen years or back in my early 20s if you're of the older variety of COD player, and now they're just relying on those good times you had back with BO2 for this game. And honestly, it feels pretty shitty because it's like a bait and switch. It makes you think this is going to be an amazing game because it's got all these elements from BO2 in it, and it makes you think it's going to be the true sequel to BO2 we never got because BO3 was a confusing dog shit campaign that had basically very little to do with BO2. Basically, well, nothing at all except for the part where they mentioned Menendez somewhere in that campaign. And then BO4 just didn't have a campaign at all. And Cold War was supposed to be a prequel to BO2 slash sequel to BO1. Like, it just feels like I mean, yeah, I know Activision relies on nostalgia in order to push Call of Duty at this point, because I mean, trying to make something new and original doesn't seem to be a very big thing for them these days. I hear supposedly at the next Modern Warfare is supposed to be Modern Warfare something or whatever, and it's got like Korean characters next to it. It's supposed to be set in like South Korea and like Seoul in like the distant future. That's what I've understood. That's from leaks, which I don't know how valid the leaks are, but apparently a leak from long ago said that the campaign for BO7 was going to be like MW3, and a lot of people who've gotten their hands on it said it definitely sucked even worse than BO3, and then BO3 sucked even worse than MW3 2023. Which, well, they weren't wrong. The leaks were right. Fucking campaign blows. Oh, but about the nostalgia trip aspect. Nothing screams riding off nostalgia, quite like Activision pushing a midnight release for this game. Oh, look, I love the idea of midnight releases back when I was a teenager. Back when I was younger, midnight releases were amazing. The midnight releases for MW2, BO1, Halo 3, Gears of War 3, games like these back in the day, those midnight releases were amazing because, it was a bunch of dudes at like midnight on a GameStop on a Tuesday or like a Thursday or a Friday or whatever day of the week getting hyped up about the game that was about to come out. Or hell, even a console that's about to come out. People just getting hyped the fuck up and be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on MW2 and I can't wait to go back home, pop it into my Xbox. I'm probably going to have to take the day off from work tomorrow or figure out how to get my parents to let me stay home from school tomorrow so I could grind this game for several hours and then tell all my friends and coworkers and everybody about how amazing the new Call of Duty was. Yeah, that's not really the case anymore. In today's day and age when games are digital, you really, really do not need to go to a midnight release. I mean, for fuck's sake, you could literally just fucking pre-order the game. I don't advise in favor of pre-ordering digital games, but I mean, if you want to, I mean, all the power to you. It's your money. You can spend it however you wish. I'm just giving my 2 cents on that. And I'm saying that as somebody who's pre-ordered a few games digitally. I still don't recommend it. I've only pre-ordered a very small handful of games. And my handful, I think I've pre-ordered probably 2 or 3 games digitally. But at least those 2 or 3 games I pre-ordered were, actually did live up to hype. One of them was Forza Horizon 5. The other was Stellar Blade, and I forgot what the other one was. I think it was another, like a Souls-like game. I think it was a game called AI Limit. I think that was the other one. That game actually lived up to hype. Had some flaws, but, still. Compared to this, you're going to a midnight release for a game that you're going to have to bring home. It's going to have a day 0 patch. Because there's no way you can fit the 100 to 150 plus gigs of content all on one disc, so you have to install the rest of it when you pop this thing into the PS5 or Series X. So really, what the hell's the point? I mean, I guess the only nice thing about going to the midnight release is it'll give, men who are between the ages of 25 to 40, I guess, a chance to socialize for a couple hours until the GameStop opens up, and then lets y'all into to get butt fucked by Activision for another year. Because you're getting another fucking copy-pasted slop Call of Duty. But no, it annoys me that they had to bank off of a lot of nostalgia and just good memories we had with BO2. Dump them all in this trash game. But that's just the campaign. Moving on to the multiplayer. Now, the multiplayer, it's... We from what we got from the beta, I mean, there's a lot of people expected from the beta. The beta, during the time of the beta, this is also the time when BF6 had come out. And BF6, of course, is doing pretty well, especially on PC. I don't really know so much for Xbox and PS5, but on Steam, it's doing phenomenally well. It's one of the top played games on Steam at the moment. I think last time I checked, I want to say BF6 had around like 200k, 400k, somewhere between 200 to 400k concurrent players on Steam. Now, at the time I'm recording this, it is later on in the night, so not so much the case at this hour. Maybe I might be wrong, but around last time I checked on online, it was around 200 to 400k. With BO7, the game is averaging 80k. That's on launch day. Now, a lot of people did not give 2 shits about the beta, and from the player counts that the beta had generated, it clearly showed that not a lot of people were interested in BO7 because BF6 had taken a lot of those people, a lot of ex-COD fans and current COD fans, and the COD apologists even went to BF6 to usually to dog on the game and say, oh, I don't like BF6 because I actually have to play as a team. It's a completely different type of shooter. Me as a COD fan, I will admit I'm fucking garbage at BF6. I played the BF6 beta. Thought it was a great game. You know, a lot of Battlefield fans thought, you know, it was a return to form compared to BF 2042. And I've played BF 2042 as well, and I thought that game sucked when I played the beta for that. But, no, like, I know very well BF is not my kind of shooter, because I'm the kind of guy who grew up on Call of Duty, and I love the fast pace, you know, run around the map, kill like 3 guys with one burst of a gun and all that shit. It's the type of shooter I enjoy. You know, but I can't go on Battlefield and harp on it, being like, "Oh, like the game is garbage. It's not like Call of Duty. It should be like Call of Duty." Battlefield is not Call of Duty. Call of Duty is not Battlefield. Suck it up. And if you don't like the game, well, then go back to your Call of Duty slop. But no, the game at the moment, well, at least again at the time I'm recording this, it's later on in the day, so the player count may have dropped below 80k. But at the peak, it had reached 80k. Mind you, BO6, when that came out, that had over 200k on launch day. BO7 on launch day, and this is Steam, by the way. On Steam, 80k. Battle Royale and Zero Build in Fortnite, when I was playing earlier today, had over 100k. 2 separate modes in Fortnite. 2 separate modes in one game, a free-to-play game, have more players than the newest Call of Duty that just came out. But that's not all. In the beta, a lot of people reported that, and Activision announced it, that, oh, they were going to create a mosh pit mode, and that mosh pit mode ended up just becoming the standard for the beta, where basically they did away completely with skill-based matchmaking. And they were letting everybody actually, you know, queue in the traditional way that Call of Duty's queued, which was amazing. You could go into a game and you'd find a match almost instantly, because you didn't have to worry about some stupid algorithm figuring out who to put you against, and oh, how did you do last time, and oh, and knowing Call of Duty, there's also cosmetics based matchmaking where it's like, well, we got to push this guy onto some games where people who've bought cosmetics, so they might be tempted to buy those same cosmetics themselves, because I recall hearing something along the lines of that. But in terms of the skill based matchmaking, it's like, oh, you did well in like these games, so now you gotta suck, so we're gonna put you up against like absolute sweats and hackers. Which, speaking of hackers, they are there. They're there already. They're already in BO7. Day 1, there's fucking hackers in the game. Wonderful. Clearly Ricochet anti-cheat is just a fucking force to be reckoned with. It's so damn good the cheaters are already present day 1. Amazing work. Great job, Activision. But no, skill-based matchmaking is there. At day 1 of the game's release, when in the beta, they had said that they would do away with skill-based matchmaking. They literally said, well, I guess it seems as though people were actually liking the lack of skill-based matchmaking. But because Activision tried to go all in with this crap since Modern Warfare 2019, they don't want to let go of their golden goose, because they know that that's also a way that they produce revenue from microtransactions. Because you know, smooth-brained idiots who are like monkeys to like jangling keys in front of a monkey get really excited when you show them like, oh, sparkly cosmetic with the fancy effects, and you know, it's chrome-plated or cel-shaded cosmetic that's based off of a TV show that just doesn't fit in with any of the aesthetic of the game. Like, me want to buy now, me will empty wallet. Oh man, but no, in the beta, no skill-based matchmaking around the end of the beta. People loved it. And now that the game's out, from what people are reporting, skill-based matchmaking seems to be back in full force again. They are getting sweat lobbies after playing a few normal lobbies where they're absolutely, you know, getting some decent, you know, opponents and teammates, to at first getting, you know, trash lobbies where your opponents are NPCs and your teammates are NPCs. You absolutely curb stomp your opponent, and then you get maybe like a 1 match or 2 matches where you're both evenly matched, and then all of a sudden, because you're doing well for several games that you've won like 4 to 5 games straight, all of a sudden the game will throw you into an ultra sweat hacker infested lobby, and you get absolutely, you know, butt blasted. Just you get one hell of a fat L, and now the skill-based matchmaking is gonna make you do this all over again. Literally, what the fuck was the point of saying, "Oh no, we will do away with skill-based matchmaking in this new Call of Duty. The people don't like the skill-based matchmaking, so we'll get rid of it." Great, great. That's one of the things we've always wanted. I fucking hate skill-based matchmaking. I played MW 2019, Cold War, Vanguard, and now now with COD Mobile, because skill-based matchmaking is there too. I detest this. Why can't we just, queue normally like in the old days? It would be quick to find a match. I'd get actual humans to play against and not absolute sweats and hackers. Nope, can't have that shit. Fuck you, Activision. But on top of that, one of the other things that they promised was not going to be in this game, which they didn't do a 180 on that yet, is the goofy cosmetics. Originally, they were going to do carry forward. They were going to move all the cosmetics from BO6 would carry forward into BO7, which means cosmetics like Beavis and Butthead and Stan Smith from American Dad would carry over into this game. They had to undo that last time. They had to undo that last minute before the beta had released, because people were, rightfully shitting on Call of Duty for doing this. Is not Call of Duty. I don't want to be playing, a mil-sim-esque, military-esque shooter, and I see cel-shaded skins like Beavis and Butthead and like anime-styled skins running all over the place. Like, it's one thing to just slap a waifu on a gun. It's one thing to do that. It's another thing when you put a cel-shaded anime girl in Call of Duty running around with an AK that has sparkly effects and shit on it. That's also cel-shaded. Those are two completely different things. So carry forward did get eliminated, but that's because while carry forward didn't come back into BO7, Activision did make sure that there were still going to be goofy cosmetics in this game, because I've seen footage of some of the new cosmetics for BO7, for the new BO7 stuff, and it's goofy shit. Guns that break apart into multiple objects and reform together into one gun. Guns that have all these goofy animations and little tiny characters running all about them. Just the same crap that we've been getting for the past Call of Duty installments. It has not changed. Again, I wouldn't mind any of this shit if it was COD Mobile, which is why I can understand COD Mobile giving me goofy guns and skins and stuff. That's fine. There's no campaign. There's no exact identity to COD Mobile. It's like a greatest hits of a bunch of COD assets just slapped together into one game. Totally understand it. Some people say, oh no, COD Mobile has to also be milsim-esque, military-esque. I can give that game a pass. It's free to play. It's just multiplayer only. There's no campaign. I can give that a pass. It doesn't have an actual, plot to it. I mean, there is some sort of lore to COD Mobile, but to be fair, you have to read a bunch of comics that are in the game, and it's kind of pointless to read all that. You're better off just being like, well, whatever. There's this baddie with military gear fighting a man who's made out of like half like Shark Man or whatever, some goofy plot or whatever. But at least I can get behind that for that game, because it's its own separate thing. It's not part of some sort of big, Call of Duty mainline plot or any shit like that. But the goofy skins are back. Yay. And I know damn well that as 2026 starts coming closer and we get into 2026 and we go throughout next year, I guarantee you at some point Activision will silently bring back carry forward. They're going to bring it back. Watch. They're going to bring back carry forward all of a sudden. Or if they don't, we're at some point going to get some sort of goofy anime cel-shaded skin all over again, and Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is just going to be the same shit as BO6. I literally said, I think I said this before. I said this before. BO6, one of the reasons why Activision was so quick to getting BO7 announced out the door was because this game takes place in the future. All this futuristic AI, VR, reality nonsense and bullshit. BO6 took place in the 90s. My guess is that one of the biggest reasons why they chose to have BO7 in the future and not in, the past is because with a futuristic setting, they could try and justify the goofy cosmetics more. It's like, well, you see, how can you criticize us for having cel-shaded anime skins when it's in the future and it's all a VR, it's all a VR AI generated world. Hatsune Miku. I mean, they don't have Miku in COD Mobile. I mean, not COD Mobile. They don't have Miku in Call of Duty, not yet. Maybe they might one day put Miku in the game. You never know. With this company, with Activision, you never know. But just as an idea, like they put cel-shaded Miku. Well, so we put cel-shaded Miku in BO7 because, well, it's in the future, so you can't shit on us for having cel-shaded Miku in this game because it's in the future and it's in a virtual reality world, so none of this shit's real anyways. See, you could shit on us for it being in the 90s setting of BO6, but even then, like, then their excuse at that point would be like, oh, because it's not connected to any mainline story. It's just a little, funsies, thing on the side that has nothing to do with the main story, even though COD multiplayers back in the day did have some kind of connection to the main campaign. World at War's multiplayer had something to do with the campaign, even if you weren't playing as Dmitry Petrenkov or Private Miller, you were still playing as a random soldier fighting in all these random maps that take place in the World at War campaign. Like the map Dome or the CeeLo map, all these kinds of maps in World at War had some connection to the story, even if you weren't the main characters that you were playing as. You were playing as just a random soldier fighting other random soldiers, which was like the background noise you would hear in the campaign as you walk through the maps. But no, like this is just my take on how exactly their justification for putting this game in the future probably went down. It's like, see, we can justify the goofy cosmetics if we set it in the future. Now, speaking of goofy cosmetics, and this is the last point I wanted to touch on so far for this game. The biggest offense that BO7 has made. AI-generated slop. Now, we've known that AI-generated slop is in these games since MW3, at least from leaked company info at Activision. From what company memos that were leaked out, given to the employees, had stated that AI had been used as far back as MW3 2023. And if you look closely at some of the calling cards in that game and some of the gun skins, you can kind of see the presence of AI on them. But of course, at the time, this information hadn't been leaked out. You might have looked at one of these cosmetics and been like, it looks kind of AI-esque. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Then when we hit BO6 is when that info leaked, and then you kind of realized, there's AI. But even before that info had leaked, people had noticed that there was the presence of AI in the game's cosmetics. Because if I remember correctly, there's that zombie Santa Claus calling card that BO6 had given out around the holidays last year, which featured a 6-fingered zombie Santa Claus. And I think another Christmas calling card had a Christmas present that just warped through someone's arm. If I remember correctly from what was going on in that art, I distinctly remember the 6-fingered Santa zombie. That one lives rent-free in my head. But with this game, now it's just so painfully obvious that there's AI. When someone had posted a pic of some of these AI-generated calling cards all next to each other in the menu. And when you look at the art, it is painfully AI-generated. For anyone who's ever used Grok AI on Twitter, you'll know when I'm sure y'all will remember the trend where people were taking random pics of things and putting them in Grok and asking Grok to make it Studio Ghibli styled. Those anime films like Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro, that exact style of Studio Ghibli. People were taking random pics of things and asking Grok to make it look Studio Ghibli-esque. And, it did look Studio Ghibli-esque. If I remember correctly, I don't remember if Studio Ghibli actually said anything regarding it. I might be wrong on that. But a lot of people, rightfully criticized, saying this just looks terrible. Like, from a moral standpoint, it's ass. I mean, if you're making AI slop stuff for yourself and you're not actually publishing it as your own art or trying to make a profit off of it, by all means, if I want to take a picture of myself, put it on Grok, and ask it to make me look Studio Ghibli-esque, it's only for myself and to show it to my friends as a haha, look at me in Studio Ghibli style, that's perfectly fine. But when you are a AAA developer, when you are a AAA gaming company like Activision, with AAA developers like Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Raven Software, High Moon Studios, all these companies, and you are using AI, and you are making art, quote-unquote art, for your game that looks so painfully like it came from Grok, like you just asked Grok to generate an image of a couple of medieval times people reeling in a fish that has a knight's helmet in its mouth. Guarantee you I could try making a prompt like that. In fact, here, let me show you this. Alright, so just to test this out, I'm just going to generate an image of something something similar to the knights knights fishing out. Yeah, let's do that. Better yet, not even specify a time period. Knights fishing for look like I'm not good with my species of fish. Trout, fishing for a trout, fishing out a trout, fishing out a trout. Yeah. Knights fishing out a trout. Let's see, night in the trout's mouth. Ghibli style. Perfect. All right. Let's see how it looks. Let's see if we can generate something close to what they did for BO7. Give it a few minutes. See what Grok generates. Not exactly. Well, this one's a little bit more Ghibli style. I mean, you gotta do some more editing to it. Let's go more Ghibli styled. Let's ask again. Let's see if we can make it more Ghibli. That's not Ghibli. That's just more. That's like realistic Ghibli. There. That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly the one. Yep. That's exactly what I'm looking. Yep. Look at that. That's exactly what I'm looking for. It's not one-to-one with how they did it in BO6, but all I would have to do is just crop this image, very wide, and honestly, you get everything you're looking for from that. You might have to stretch the image out a little bit and use more AI to lengthen it, but yeah, you could generate a calling card. See? What did I tell y'all? You can easily generate this shit on Grok. I don't know about other AI models. I'm sure you could do the same thing, and I'm sure whatever AI model Activision uses for game development is a bit more advanced than the stuff that we, the public, are able to use. But it's still the same shit. I mean, I could generate AI Ghibli and, Ghibli AI generated slop. I mean, hell, my thumbnail images on this channel are AI generated. In my case, I don't make a profit off of my videos. I just need to have something there to bring people to the video. You see, my last video, I had, an AI generated anime girl holding an AI generated Labubu in her hands. But I will tell you right off the bat, it is AI generated. The whole purpose of this is because I just need to create some kind of sign to bring people into the videos. But I'm not trying to make a profit off of any of this shit. At the same time, I'm not a AAA developer. I'm just an individual. I'm not a business owner. I'm not a company. I'm an individual making his own content as a side thing on YouTube. It's just my own hobby that I do on the side. It's not a source of income for me. That I can fully understand. When people make AI generated thumbnails on YouTube or use AI to make their thumbnails, if you're somebody who's just making them because you need to have some kind of a thumbnail and, you know, you can't draw, I can't, you know, I can, you know, draw like doodles and stuff, but, you know, I can't draw something that looks nice. I can't draw, you know, an anime girl that looks fucking amazing. I don't have the ability to do that. And obviously commissions for you know, art are insanely expensive. You know, I ain't got that kind of money. It's not in this economy. So this AI generated content works for independent YouTube content creators such as myself, because, you know, if I'm not making money off of this, I just want to get my voice heard. That's all I need to do. But when you are a AAA game developer using this technology to generate art for your fucking game, and you are selling this garbage for $70 a pop on Steam, of all fucking places, which in Steam's terms and conditions for game developers says you cannot be using generative AI slop in your game, then at that point, like what the fuck is going on? Which I will add, when in regards to the laziness of BO7, and somebody who paid, it was when I said I'm not paying $70 for this crap game, which is why I have not played this game on my own. I did consider, you know, getting Game Pass for a month so I could at least play BO7 when it came out this month. But, you know, when I did consider that, about a couple days later, Microsoft delivered the wonderful news that Game Pass was going to go up in price, which is a side effect of Microsoft stupidly having bought Activision and not really seeing a huge return on investment in buying this stupid company. They had spent billions acquiring Activision, and they did not see a whole lot of profit that came back their way from that. So, you know, what ended up happening? We, the consumer, ended up paying the price with, you know, with an increase on the monthly subscription for Game Pass. Well, but the justification is it comes with Fortnite Crew. If you combine the price of Fortnite Crew with Xbox Live for a month, it is more expensive to get Game Pass than it is to just simply buy these things separate. And at the same time, again, I only needed Game Pass for a month so I could at least play BO7, so I could say, well, you know, I've played the game myself, and I could give a much more, you know, nuanced take on the game and see what I think about it. But apparently, because Game Pass had gone up in price, and I'm not going to waste 70 of my hard-earned dollars on this piece of shit game, you will get to hear my opinion based on what I was able to get from people who actually did spend $70 on this pile of trash. But you know what? Maybe I can spend the $70 with confidence, because from what I learned on Twitter, someone spent $70 on this game, beat the campaign in about 4 hours, and asked Steam for a refund. And apparently Valve did give him his money back. And his explanation to Valve for why he wanted a refund for BO7 was because there was the presence of AI-generated content in the game. I don't know if he provided actual, you know, screenshots. Pretty easy to provide screenshots. You can just get to the calling card section of the game and take screenshots of every single one of these AI-generated slop calling cards in the game and show them to Valve to justify the $70 being refunded back to you. And if you've bought this game and you want to refund it because of that, by all means go ahead, because AI-generated crap isn't even supposed to be on Steam to begin with. So if you want to return your copy of BO7 that you spent $70 on and got, you know, highly disappointed in, by all means, return the game and just simply ask Valve, yeah, the game has AI-generated slop, and there's proof that there's AI-generated slop in it, and it shouldn't be on Steam to begin with. It blows my fucking mind that, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that BO7 was going to be like this. I've said it before. The BO7, I did not even remotely look forward to this game. I looked much more forward to Battlefield 6, and apparently Arc Raiders is doing even better than Battlefield 6. So, you know, Arc Raiders is a game that surprised me, because I didn't know much about that game until it came out, and that game's doing better on Steam than BF6 and BO7. Twitch-wise, it's beating out both games as well, but again, these are video games, not movies. The only thing that really matters is player counts, not viewer counts on Twitch. But I didn't buy BO6. I had considered buying it when it came out. Thank God I didn't, because of the presence of all the AI garbage. And with BO7, well, It made the decision even easier for me. I really don't want to buy this garbage. This is pathetic. This is not even remotely, and I know this video is going on longer than I had planned, but I had to take notes on everything I found about Call of Duty. This is one of the first times I had taken notes for a video instead of just saying everything off the top of my head. But I can't believe this series has degraded to this point, to where Activision is just straight up allowing laziness in the content. It's like, oh, just use AI. AI is going to be the solution to everything. AI. Every time I see AI, if you are expecting people to pay you for a product, specifically an interactive product like a video game, and there's a heavy amount of AI in it, do not be surprised when people refund your garbage by the dozens, by the hundreds, thousands. Because once people find out there's AI slop in your game, I mean, and the same goes for basically, hell, even in mods, for like games where mod support is enabled. People find the presence of AI, people will just not download your mod, because that's just lazy development. You know, I don't use AI in this video that you're watching. I only use AI in my thumbnail, and that's about it. You know, and that's because, like I said, you know, I need to make thumbnails that, you know, draw attention to the video. But again, this isn't monetized. I don't seek to make a profit off of this. I'm not a large corporation looking to make thousands of dollars off of content that I'm making. If I'm going to make my own kind of video, you know, I'm making my own kind of video just, you know, for my own sake, for my own, you know, my own side hobby thing. One thing is doing something as a hobby. Another thing is trying to pass it off as like, oh yes, this is my own original work, and I would like to make money off of my own original work for, you know, because I'm, you know, I made something original. There was AI in it. Like, look, I can understand the use of AI when you're like, I want to make an original character, but the thought's in my head, but I can't materialize it yet. And you ask AI, create me a character that looks like this. And it gives you at least an inspiration for how you'll make your own character. That's different. You know, if you're going to take AI and just simply trace over it, or just simply, you know, crop an AI image and slap it into a video game or a movie or something and be like, yep, there you go. That's my work. I did not ask AI to generate all this shit for me. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Especially if you're, even then, if you, and hell, I'll even be more lenient. I will say, if you're a small game developer, if you're like an indie dev, and you use AI, hell, I'm not even gonna shit on you that hard compared to, you know, a large AAA company like Activision. A small indie dev, you have a tight budget. You know, you can't pay off, you know, a 100 employee studio of game developers. You know, you might just have like a small crew of people working on an indie title. So if you're going to use AI for that, like, okay, at least in that case, I'm like, well, I can kind of, you know, I can kind of understand the reasoning, because it's a small studio. You want to, you know, not spend a whole lot of money, you know, and you're trying to, you know, help cut corners here and there so you can get your game up, but you're not cutting corners in a really egregious way. Now that's one thing. But Activision is a AAA gaming company with billions of dollars, and you have to resort to using AI in the development process? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, and to the COD apologists that are out there, because I'm a COD fan myself, but there's a difference between a COD fan and an apologist. A COD fan, we love this series, but we are open to criticizing it. And we will not buy the game if the game fucking sucks for the year. We will openly say, I'm not buying Call of Duty. I don't recommend anybody buys this Call of Duty. It's fucking garbage. Do not buy this crap. You know, like, we want this series to actually do well. Seeing it like this, just, you know, it hurts to watch this. I mean, yeah, I'm having a field day shitting all over BO7. I've been having a field day all day just shitting on this garbage game. But at the same time, I do feel bad because, like, you know, this is the series I've grown up with since I was a teenager. You know, I enjoyed this series, and it's a damn shame seeing how far Call of Duty has fallen since the golden days into this atrocious mess that we see now before us. So, like, honestly, like, I just can't fathom, like how it got to this point. Like, is the industry just that trash and just that greedy to where everything is just AI generated, lazily made slop and recycled assets, nonsense garbage? You kidding me? Now, when I say COD fan, again, a COD fan, nobody, I know someone has made this joke before. It's like, nobody hates Call of Duty more than COD fans. And that is true. Nobody hates Call of Duty more than us. But the difference between us and a COD apologist is a COD apologist is one of those guys that you will encounter on Twitch or on Twitter or, you know, on or even here on YouTube. And it's those guys who are like, oh, dude, I am so excited. Like, the new Call of Duty looks amazing. It's a return to form. They've actually played the game. They've encountered all the same bullshit that everybody else has encountered. And they still have the gall to say, oh, no, this is a return to form to Call of Duty. This is a great game. This is everything I've ever wanted to Call of Duty. Amazing. Like, and people are saying Call of Duty is dead. And people were saying BF6 has finally beat Call of Duty. Oh, come on. These were the same guys who went on Battlefield 6 and were trashing the game saying, oh, I'm not having fun playing this. I keep getting killed a lot. And these guys were making some of the dumbest decisions, you know, in the game that you could possibly make, like running out there into like a full barrage of bullets and shit. Like, I feel like some of these guys were just not even trying to play the game or even trying to enjoy it. And if they did enjoy it, they're probably getting paid under the table by like Activision or somebody related to Activision because they're like, I can't criticize my daddy Activision because if I lose that sweet Activision money, then I actually have to, you know, make different content on my channel, and you know, I can't take my mouth off the teat of Activision. So you know, I got to do my damnedest to keep, you know, to keep, you know, riding that Activision cock to the end. But some of these guys may not even be paid by Activision. Some of these guys may just be like, they just fucking love everything that's Call of Duty. Like I said, like jangling, sparkly things at a monkey. These guys are like, ooh, pretty skin. Me buy. Me spend money. It's like, amazing. Haha, I am now a glowing and cel-shaded. Like, these types of guys. Some of these guys have finally come to the conclusion that this is a piece of shit game and they regret having spent $70 on this. While the true apologists still have the gall to say, oh, you guys are hating on BO7 and I'm enjoying it. Look, if you enjoy playing this, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, you should not be playing this game. How dare you play BO7? I am angry as somebody who's not playing BO7 and all that. No, I mean, it's your money. You can waste $70 on AI-generated slop content video games if you want. You know, by all means, it's your money. You have every right to spend with it as you wish. But I also have a right to criticize the game and to criticize anybody who, despite seeing everything that we have seen regarding this game still, and knowing everything we know about Call of Duty over the past couple of years, still is willing to spend $70 every year on this shitty franchise. Like, at this point, COD fans and 2K fans are about on par with each other, both equally fucking stupid. Just mouth-breathing people who absolutely just drool from the mouth when you show them, ooh, new game. Ooh, and in the case of COD fans, ooh, new gun with sparkly anime camo. And then 2K fans are like, ooh, Kevin Durant's new jersey for the season. Ooh, so pretty. Ooh, me spend $70 on this. Bah. I don't know where I was going with that. But I've said it. Call of Duty and 2K fans are not far from each other in terms of stupidity. Like, I'm sorry. Why are you still like I know I said what I said earlier, but it just blows my mind how somebody is still willing to spend money on this crap. This, at least when I play COD Mobile, spending money on that game is optional. You could literally play all of COD Mobile that you want and never spend a dime. But with mainline, you still got to pay that $70. And you, good sir or ma'am, as I know there's some ladies that play Call of Duty, but you, sir or ma'am, you have got to be like straight up the most consumerist of consumerist, the most consuming of consumers I've ever seen. That you are willing to, you know, take the most egregiously lazily made slop content imaginable and just not question it. Just be like, yes, well, me want the Call of Duty. Like, if it's different from Black Ops 6, it's it's future, not the 90s. And I'm like, it's the same game with a futuristic coat of paint. I mean, hell, at this point, I'd argue and just say it's the same shit as MW3 2023, but with a futuristic coat of paint, and it's Black Ops-y styled. That's about it. Now, the zombies on this game, I will have to say this right off the bat. I'm not too, familiar with how the zombies in this game looks. I don't give a shit about what zombies in this game looks. Look, we have reached peak zombies already with BO3 on PC. Just get yourself a copy of Black Ops 3 on Steam. Preferably with all the DLC, because it makes installing all the DLC a lot easier. Not the DLC, all the mods easier, because there's workshop support for BO3 on Steam. Just get BO3 on Steam. Pretty soon we're going to be reaching the Steam winter sale, so just get BO3 at that point and get that game. Download some mods. Highly recommend the Neptunian GFL mods. They really help make BO3 much more easier to stomach. And, just enjoy zombies, endless zombies on a bunch of goofy maps that, the community has made. You never have to touch any other Call of Duty zombies ever again. I mean, you could play BO1 and BO2 and World at War zombies for nostalgia, but if you want, the perfect zombies experience, BO3. I mean, I played Cold War zombies and I didn't really think it was anything special. I got bored of it very quick. The campaign was solid. The multiplayer was okay. But again, once you've experienced the best zombies in Call of Duty imaginable, there's really no point in playing anything else. Just play BO3. The game has continued support by the community to this day. So just do that. But no, I know this video dragged on longer than my other videos. I just so passionate about wanting to talk about this because I was so fucking mad when I saw what BO7 ended up being. I mean, I can't really say my expectations were destroyed because I had no expectations for this goddamn game. I knew this was going to be garbage, but it's like, even though I had little to no expectations for this game, my expectations were still ruined. My disappointment was immeasurable, and my day sure as fuck was ruined. That's how I felt when I saw everything that I saw about this fucking game. This is a travesty. On the upside, though, I guess it's the first time ever that we will actually be seeing Activision get humbled by everybody at this point. Oh, and on a side thing, I just want to say, IGN, keep IGNing, because I don't know where the hell y'all pulled out of your asses a 6 out of 10 for this slop game, and BF6 got a 5 out of 10 for some stupid reason. Keep IGNing, guys. Keep disappointing everybody every time with your reviews. Keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Just gives me something to laugh at every now and then. Anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.